welcome to the SCP show ahead of round 7. We're down here at Bar 94, our brand new sponsors, and we'll be filming from here from now on. There'll be more to come in the coming weeks about that one, but in the meantime, I'm joined again by Damon and Mick. How are we?
Mick, I thought it was Cameron.
Yeah,
Anyway.
confused. I'm so confused.
Depends on the week, really.
Yeah, look, this week, Paige, you had a pretty poor score in the SuperCoach, getting your first chocolate hat of the year.
Not something I'm pretty proud of, to be honest. It was awful. Suffering from a lot of injuries and underperforming premiums, but we'll be getting into that.
And the funny thing is, the previous 3 times chocolate hat is now the SuperCoach Paige
I know.
first place getter this
Well
week.
done, Joyce. 2,155. Still not the greatest score in the world, but for the week that it was pretty good considering.
Yep, I didn't fare much better, Paige. It came down to one player, Jarman Impey, who was the sub, thankfully, and he was in your team, not mine, and came down to that player, and thankfully I outscored you by about 60-odd and scored 2,056. So
thanks, Jarman. I owe you one, pal.
I am one as well.
But moving into our very first segment of the show, we're having a look at the buys, and of course it is appropriately named Hello Bye Bye. Starting things off, we're having a look at Fremantle's David Mundy. Now, a lot of people probably wouldn't know, but he's priced at $491,000 with an average of 99 and a break-even of 52. And he's got West Coast this week, which is the big derby over there in Perth, Port Adelaide and Geelong to follow. And he has absolutely bottomed out in price now, and there could not be a better time to get him in. He's got the round 10 bye, and he's only owned by 3,400 people. Can you even imagine? He's had scores of 84 and 46, which is the reason why he actually had that high break even to begin with. But since then, he's really hit back with scores of 134 and 110, and he's dropped down now $67,000, which is absolutely crazy. If that wasn't enough to entice you into getting Mundy, Freo have got 11 bottom 8 sides that they play from here on until the end of the season. So they've got Brisbane twice as well. A lot of games still to come at Patterson Stadium. So if you're having a look at him, you really should bring him in this week. If you're looking for that sort of premium player that you need to add into your midfield, he's going to be very, very good, I think. Yeah,
he's that sort of player I think that you need to look at as a point of difference factor. And he's one to get on. I think he's in form. His break-even's at 52. So jump on him.
He looks pretty good.
Ridiculous.
And speaking of someone that we were having a look at very strongly, I think you are having a look at someone that is hot on the lips of everyone at the moment.
Yes, he is. Jobe Watson's that man. He's the Essendon skipper. He's priced at $533,600 and he's averaging, would you imagine, 111 at the moment.
Is he really?
So he's doing quite well, and his break-even's at 136, so he could maybe even drop a little bit further, but I think this is the week to get on him. He's had 4 consecutive 100-plus scores in his opening 4 rounds, and since then he's dropped off and scored in the 80s. So, I mean, with the teams that are yet to come for Essendon, he's got the Bulldogs, Brisbane and Sydney. So I think this week he will be bouncing back, and he is one to get on.
Fantastic. And another person you were having a look at this week.
Yeah, look, I was looking at Ryan Griffen. Now, I already got on Jobe Watson, Ryan Griffen, sitting at $516,500. Now, guys, he's got a break-even of 117 at the moment. He's averaging 81. So, potentially, one to look to upgrade after his round 9 bye. Saying that, though, he does have Essendon next, who probably don't really have a tagger that can really take him. I don't personally think. Then they have Melbourne after that, so he could have potentially 2 big scores before the bye, so he could potentially even get his break even and rise in price. So it's a bit of a toss up with him whether you get him or not, but I'd suggest wait that little bit and see if he bottoms out.
Last week as well. I held off him last week.
Yeah, I was looking at him as well before Watson bobbed up and came into contention. So, yeah, I mean, you've got Watson, you got Griffen. Who else we got?
And we've got one more as well, Dayne Zorko. Now, a lot of people do have him, but a lot of people, even more so actually, don't. He's only owned by a third of the competition. He's dropped $40,000 in price with a current average of 98 and a break-even of 65. So again, a bit like David Mundy, he is ripe for the picking now if you're looking for an extra forward or midfielder. He's had a huge return to form, has the round 10 bye as well, which is really handy going forward. Look, really is. He's ridiculously cheap, and he's going to continue to rise in price. So this is the week now to jump on him, I'd say.
Yep, absolutely. And there's a few other players as well that could be thrown into contention, I think.
I reckon so. One of them is Callan Ward, who's at 488,000. He's got a break even of 82, he's got a break even of 92, an average of 82. He had an average of 125 in the very first 3 rounds. Really, really great point of difference, I'd say. But another couple, Lance Franklin and Chad Wingard as well, are a couple to really have a look at.
And you had a comment briefly about Lance Franklin as well. You said, what was it about his incident?
I reckon he might probably crash more cars than kick goals this year, the way he's headed. So
it's a fair point.
Classic Paige.
Zinger that one.
Yeah, I made it funny.
Well done.
But moving on, the big Q we're having a look at this week is Alex Fasolo, and it is hot on the collar of everyone at the moment. Well, what are we going to do? How do you solve a problem like Alex Fasolo? He was subbed out early with a score of just 29 on ANZAC Day. He had a break even of minus 60 last week, but has gone to 39 now after coming off with that low score. He's expected to return in round 9, so he's going to miss this week. I am told, there we go, straight out of the club, he will not play this week.
And look, guys,
there's a lot to go through with him, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. And something very interesting about Fasolo, if you actually watched him on Anzac Day, he didn't stick to Chapman at all in that first quarter. And Chapman run amok, completely killed us. Collingwood, that is. Yeah. Not me.
And me, because I've got Fasolo as well.
He killed us because he's in our side.
Yes. So look, and one thing that Buckley said about Fasolo, just about 3 rounds into the season, when he was getting his high scores, Buckley said that his main priority was to stick to his man. So if he wasn't doing that, he wouldn't be kept in the back line. So.
But you've got a handy bit of intel in regards to how Collingwood actually trained him into that position. Yeah,
definitely. So he was put in the VFL for 3 rounds prior to coming back into the one side, and he was tried out in that defence position, but simply they had no one to cover all the likes of Reed and Marley Williams and etc. So they literally just tried him out, and he did pretty well in the VFL. So they brought him in. And he killed it the first few weeks, but just that week against Chapman, you can't let a player like Chapman go, can you? So,
but Damon, I think there's a few considerations we've got to make. Aside from that, what would your first option be?
My first option was when I heard that he was only going to be out for the 1 week, I feared that he was going to be out for up to a month, if not more. So I was immediately thinking, look, I'm going to have to use him as a down trade option and use him as a cash cow and trade him down to another cash cow to cash in and use that money to upgrade elsewhere. But now that he's only being ruled out for the 1 week, it works well with the bye being there. You can work around that and keep him there as long as you've got solid bench cover, I think. But it's only for 1 week, so I'd definitely look at doing that.
And Mick, your second option?
Oh look, the second option, and just trade him for a cheaper rookie. Simple as that. You've got the options of, say, Sam Lloyd, for example, bank some cash and then use that after the buy round and get yourself in Dayne Swan. And someone is going to be that more consistent performer. If you're going for a Collingwood player, look, you probably want to go for Swanee, or, even if you haven't got someone like Pendles and you can actually upgrade the Pendles. Yeah. That's tasty.
Do you think, though, I guess, in looking at that option, if you are taking the option of trading him, that you can trade him up to another player as well if you've got the a lot of people went the double downgrade last week to put some money away in the kitty. Do you think he is priced at $330,000? So a couple of $100,000 more, and you've got a bona fide gun. Do you think it's worth trading up to him, or sort of banking him for the cash?
Look, if you've got the players in your forward line, definitely downgrade him. It's as simple as that. Because if you can get another premium for him, especially someone like we was talking about, like Swanee or even Watson, who's come out to Selwood, very big name, who's is going to drop in price a lot. It's probably best to downgrade him now, and then get someone in after the buy. But look, otherwise, don't panic. Keep hold of him. He's still probably going to get that 100 plus score in the next couple of games anyway.
It's really going to depend on what your actual structure is. That being that if you do need the coverage, if you've got to play guys like Impey, Jake Kennedy Harris, on field, then he might be a bit of strife for a week. But even then, a lot of people brought him in already knowing that he was going to miss round 8 nonetheless. So think of this as a 2-week sort of break from him. I'm personally holding on to him because he's got so much upside. But one thing we sort of did mention as well, or sorry, we're yet to mention, is that with guys like Marley Williams coming back, Paul Seedsman coming back, and Alex Fasolo's position in the side isn't actually as short anymore. Ben Reid and Nathan Brown come into that defensive unit as well. So it is going to be, I mean, it depends whether or not they'll throw Fasolo up forward, but even then that forward line seems pretty settled with the small types.
Well, simple as this, Marley Williams he's coming in this Friday, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 50-50 apparently.
50-50. So, I mean, but talk on the town is that he is coming back in this Friday, and if he does, and he performs well, could that just be Fasolo's spot gone straight away?
It very well could. Lots of things you've got to take into consideration, but personally for me, I'm keeping him this week, and hopefully we'll be seeing him more after the bye. But moving on from there, we're having a look at the crystal ball this week, and it's a good segment, I think, for our viewers to actually look into the crystal ball into the future and see which premiums we can start to actually prepare to upgrade to, especially with these rookies now coming up, bottoming out in price now. They've reached their ceiling and they're starting to have those break-evens that are actually bigger than their averages. So who have you got to talk about for us now?
Look, we can now. My man Joel Selwood. Now he's the guy that I am after big time, and a couple of lousy scores in the last couple of weeks in the 80s. I think 82, 83, roughly around about, have brought him down dramatically in price. Now he was up there as I think he was the second most expensive player behind Gaz. Actually, maybe behind Mumford. No, maybe not. I think he was around about 683. He was at one stage. Right now he's down at 598,000. He's got an average of 121, which is still ridiculous considering, like we said, the last two scores of 86. His next three, Richmond, and he's got the bye in the middle there, and then he's got Fremantle. So probably, I'd definitely recommend with a break even of 196. This is a no-brainer. Get him in straight after the bye.
And you've only got 1 week to wait as well. So if you are contemplating over bringing that premium in this week that you're not 100% sure on, if you can hold out an extra one, you can just upgrade straight to him.
That's right.
Think of it like that. Having a look at Pierce Hanley. Now, I will admit I was one of the few who actually traded him out with the news that he had a hamstring injury. I let him go and went down to Gentian, banked him for his money. So that was fantastic, especially now that I'm looking at him getting him much less than what he started out to be. $475,200 is his current price tag. He's an average of 86 and a break even of 185. He's got Sydney, Essendon and North Melbourne and has that round 10 bye. So it's pretty handy to get him in over the next couple of weeks when he starts bottoming out, because he's going to be closer towards 430,000. So he's going to drop another 40k this week. You're going to have to hold out another 3 to 4 weeks to really get him at his lowest. In saying that, though, your hand may be forced to actually bring him in a bit earlier than that.
Well, it actually works well for me because I'm looking at upgrading to the likes of Selwood, Watson definitely this week, potentially Swan. So I've got those players to upgrade to first, so I can afford to wait. Yeah. It's good. Good.
And having a look at Nick Riewoldt as well. Cannot believe his fall from grace after a couple of interesting scores. He's got a current price tag of 547,000 and average of 111. He's got the break even of 156 this week. Faces a tough chance against the Hawks this week. Carlton and Gold Coast to follow then. And he's dropped 22 grand after last week's efforts of 56, but he's projected to be around $506,000 after round 9. He's also got the round 10 bye as well, so that is that's fantastic.
See, little giggle here because
we both laugh.
Yeah, because last week I was contemplating. I had the option of either Riewoldt or Pavlich, and Damon and Joyce even were just really trying to convince me to get Riewoldt in, and I chose against them. And I got Pavlich, and thank God for that.
He listened.
Yeah, he did. He listened. Very good.
And look, the last one we're covering, Sam Mitchell, at 563,600. Now, obviously, he's got the defender / midfielder role, so you can get him in either, which is very handy at this time of year. He has an average of 105, like I said. Break even 158. Definitely won't be getting that. Let's just say that. next 3, St Kilda, expect over 100, I'd say. So he'd definitely be a good option to get in this week. But like we say, he will be dropping in price. So maybe hang out 1 or 2 weeks if you can afford to. Or, if you want to get him in this week, just know that he will drop in price a bit more.
Exactly right. And a couple of other players to sort of take note of as well. Jared Roughhead's priced at $4.42 at the moment, and he's plummeting down as well. He's one to have a look at as well if you're in the market for another key forward down the line. Brendan Goddard returns this week for Essendon, and he's got a break even of $197,000. And if you haven't even considered him yet as a midfield option, you've got to have a look at him, because as a midfielder, as a 7th or 8th midfielder, he's going to be a very tasty prospect.
Oh, definitely, especially with the break-even of
Break-even
$197,000.
$197,000, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big break-even.
Maybe just under 97.
And Todd Goldstein from North Melbourne, cannot believe he's actually dropped $170,000, the biggest price drop in Supercoach. He's got the round 8 buy as well. So he's someone to actually have a look at, especially given his $488K, and with a bit of an exclusive tonight as well at SCP that we've been told from a very handy source at Fremantle that, yep, I'm going to say it, Aaron Sandilands will be rested on either side of Fremantle's buy. So take that into consideration, because there could be mayhem coming up, and if you're looking to trade off Sandy after that, I tell you what, Goldie's going to be someone to really look at with any hope that they stop playing.
When you say either side, do you mean both weeks or just one of the weeks?
It'll be either before their buy, or it'll be either after. Okay. So that's going to really depend on that situation, I'd say. But
look, and
that's the word.
That's the thing, though. Everybody's been waiting for that. Everybody's been knowing that's going to happen. It's disappointing that it is going to happen. But look, Goldstein, get on him straight away.
I'd say so.
Straight up.
And just making light as well, we've got Andrew Walker, Andrew Swallow, Taylor Walker, Nathan Bock, Brendan Goddard, all coming back this week. So when you're looking into the future as well, they're a couple of handy players to have a look at as good downgrade options.
Yep. And to upgrade to these sorts of players, you'll need some cash. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to cash in the cash cows.
Become a millionaire.
Become a millionaire like you, Mick. And I have no idea. I reckon he's watered the system, Carlton style salary cap rorts.
Yeah.
Not good enough. But who's the first player we're looking at?
Oh, look, we are looking at the, I think the man on most people's minds, Luke Dunstan, sitting at 311 grand, average of 80, BE break even of 70. So look, I'm so torn with this one.
No, he's gone.
Yeah, gone.
Everyone's saying get off him, but I can just see him coming out and smashing it this week. For whatever reason, I just don't think Hawthorne will pay much attention to him, and I think he's just going to get a lot. But I have been right and I have been wrong in the past. So, look, reasons against trading him out. It'd be extremely unlikely that the Saints would drop him. He's got job security.
Yep.
Okay. Reasons for: he's only averaged 57 in his last 3 games.
Ouch.
He had those 2 massive scores. He got 154, I think it was, in one of the rounds. But he hasn't really performed in the last 3 weeks. So probably a good time to get rid of him. Although I think I'm going to wait just 1 more week.
And I reckon you've got someone that's everyone's sort of asking questions about as to whether or not this person should be given the flick this week.
Yeah, this is one of the cash cows that I've got, and I'm going to hold on through the buys with an eye to sort of upgrade him to maybe a Swanee. So he's in calculations there when his buy does come up. Jared Pollock, he's priced at 381,100. He's averaging 95 at the moment, so he's one of the higher end cash cow prospects right there, and he's still got a break even at 34. So he's still going quite well, and of course, reasons for, he's a higher priced option, so you can upgrade him to, you're not going to take as much cash to upgrade him to someone like Swan, like I mentioned, or Griffen even. And reasons against, despite the fact that Port are flying at the moment, his spot in the side is cemented. I think that's well and truly established now, so he's still going to be making cash, and if you can keep his average, then he might be a cash cow to hold on to.
Yeah, he might be a keeper in the end. Having a look at Hawthornes, Matthew Suckling, 404,000, really hasn't come on massively as the cash cow we probably hoped him to be as that mid-price option. But His current average is 81. He's got a break even of 123 this week, so he's definitely going to drop in price. Next 3 he faces is St Kilda, Sydney, and then he's got the bye there in round 9. But reasons for keeping him, also reasons for offloading him rather, his break even is well above his average, and we know that's a cardinal sin in SuperCoach, so we need to keep that in mind. He's only got a 9% chance of reaching his break even this week according to SuperCoach Gold as well, which isn't exactly the news that you want to hear. And I guess, look, he's going to drop $14,000 to $15,000, so again we're losing money. If we have a look at the reasons again, for offloading him anyway, round 9 bye, that's definitely a good thing considering at the moment everyone's chock full of round 8 bye players. If you can't upgrade him to a premium for the round 9, it's probably best to stick with him. He does have an average of 80 at the moment, so he's pretty good for that 80 to 100 point mark, I'd say. If you've got worse, I guess, players on his side that really need more attention than Suckling, he's probably the last of your worries, because he's not going to go out of that side.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Look, you can trade even Hawthorne for Hawthorne there as well. There's a couple like Hodge and Burgoyne around that sort of late 400 area that you can trade in. The last one we're covering is Higo, Sean Higgins, 365,600, averaging 78, break even. Guess what? 78. Stuff it. Get rid of him. If you've still got him. He's got Essendon and Melbourne and the bye. Look, you can hold off if you want, but he's just going to keep going down in price. What do you guys think?
I'm actually trading him to... I was actually going to trade first off Fasolo when I thought he was going to be out for an extended period. And I've instead have chosen, on the news that Fasolo is only going to have the 1 week, 2 week turnaround, chosen to upgrade Higgins to Watson. I've got the dual position player there, so I can bring... Martin, who I had in the midfield, back into the forwards, and he's priced quite high, so not as much cash needed to upgrade him to my Watson.
And the good thing is he's made you 111 grand. If you've had him since the start of the season, bank that. Just get on with it and just get a Watson or a Swan.
And he's going for this week for me for Zorko, so he served his purpose.
And I was scared last week, of course. Thought he was injured. Came off with a groin scare, and I think that's enough for me to flick him, get rid of him.
Moving on to tweet of the week. Make sure that on Twitter you use the hashtag SCP Show and give us your questions, and of course we'll answer them here on the show. And kicking us off with the very first one, Mick.
Yes, so Lee Hatherall, at Lee Hatherall. Thanks for that one, Lee. Which backline upgrade, Lee asks? Simpson, Shaw, Hibberd or Walker? Now, I was looking at Walker, funnily enough, earlier today as a potential upgrade for myself from Suckling, and I reckon he's the best option because the last few games he's had I think around about a mid-90s average the last 3 games. So, and last round he had 94. So there are promising signs, especially with Carlton not looking as trash as we originally thought at the start of the season.
Yeah, they're coming good. But I can speak on behalf of Simpson. I've got him in my side as a bit of a point of difference. He's starting to come good. He's dropped in price, but I'd definitely consider him as an upgrade.
Well, there we go. And since you're already speaking and giving us your beautiful opinion there,
yes,
Damon, Mitch Clifton.
Yes, got one here. Mitch Clifton at Mitchell Clifton. He asked $400K in the bank to trade Ellis for Watson and Suckling for Hibberd. What are your thoughts? Well, Ellis to Watson, I think that's a no-brainer. Ellis, I read in the Herald Sun today, is still listed as 1 week. I thought he was going to come back after a week, so another week on the sidelines. Definitely get rid of him. You don't want that sort of cash to be sitting on your bench. So you got $400K, like you, Mick. Money bags.
Yeah, money bags.
Might as well put it to good use.
Yep.
And Suckling to Hibberd. Now, Hibberd, he's been a surprise packet, I think, for me.
I was going to start with him at the start of the year until he actually had that injury coming into round 1. So.
Yeah, he's a bit of a surprise. Nice point of difference again. So that's what you want this time of year, especially. So I'd consider it. Yeah.
And I'm having a look at Daniel's tweet, and he actually asks, "Are there any good rookies debuting this week? I'm looking to downgrade a player to free up some salary cap space." The answer, unfortunately, is no. last week actually was the week to really jump on those double downgrades because there were 7 players in total that played their third game the weekend just gone. So you've sort of missed the boat there. If you have a look at anyone, Pat Ambrose may play this week, he may not. He's still on the bubble, hasn't played for a couple of weeks with that quad injury from memory. Mitch Honeychurch is someone to actually have a pretty good look at. He's rumoured to be in the mix this week, and he's a $117,000 mid-forward option. Was a gun at TAC Cup level last year, averaged 25 disposals and 2 goals a game. So when you look at that, he could really come in, but he looks the sub-candidate for me, so you've got to keep that in consideration.
There's a couple of other players as well that I was looking at. John O'Rourke, he's only played the one game. He debuted last week, and he looked all right, didn't look too bad. And higher ups, I think he was number 2 draft pick.
Second draft pick.
When he was drafted. And another player as well who I'm getting in is Mitch Hallahan from the Hawks. He looked pretty good, started as a sub in the first week. Last week in his second game, he racked up a fair bit of the ball, 20 disposals, looked good, so another one to consider.
And we've got Anthony Morabito as well, who looks to return. First time since the preliminary final of 2010, so he's going to be back, which hopefully will be great, and hopefully those knees stay okay. But until then, that's all we've got time for. Make sure that you jump on and come down here to Bar 94 in Richmond. Our mates down here hosting us for the SCP show from here on.
Yeah, definitely.
Until then, we hope your team scores better than mine. I'm pretty crap at the moment. But
enjoy that chocolate hat.
I will definitely.
Enjoy it.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. See you later.
Bye.
See you later.